Hey everyone, welcome back to Wellness Minutes. I'm here again with Brian McGee from Go-To-Market. And Brian, before we started the video, I gave you that conversation. I was holding up a bottle of product and we start talking about ingredients. So I think it's really important we talk about why a facility, again, whether you're a spa or a resort or a manufacturer, you kind of have to do an ingredient audit, correct? Or what do you call it in your terminology?
Yeah, I would call it an ingredient audit. You want to be constantly reviewing what the composition of your products are for a number of reasons. Number one, and what forces most people to look at their ingredients is compliances change all the time. The US, different retailers, they have a list of compliances that are constantly evolving. Products that are sold internationally could have a completely different list of ingredient compliance factors. And at the spa level, you might not know these things. You might not notice a change in ingredient deck, or you might be carrying a product that has fallen out of compliance because there's no hard and fast rule that products need to be pulled from the shelf because they've fallen out of compliance. But I think, reviewing ingredient decks on a regular basis, rather than, if I were at a spa level, I'd be looking for what are the active ingredients? How are we getting the performance out of these products that is the promise on the label, right? What is it that is causing these products to work effectively for your customers? And again, that evolves too, Alan. I was talking to you the other day about this. Technology, I ran an R&D facility for 5 years, and it was 10 years ago. The technology we were working with then has been replaced 15 times.
All right, you said well, again, and I'm going to say it, I'm always writing my notes as people know, but there's no formal training for this. I mean, you've spent your entire adult life imbuing yourself with it, and which is why, whether you're a manufacturer or whether you're a spa, you need someone who's got this is one of those areas where you hire expertise in the area.
Absolutely. Every day I'm looking up an ingredient to see what it does, what its functionality is, what it comes from, what its EWG score is, what other products use it. Every day I'm going through a list of ingredients that I'm looking on behalf of my customers.
All right, I wrote 3 things down and I want to address them real quick with you.
Sure.
Because we talked about the activity, the performance, and the efficaciousness or the efficacy of how well it works. So, Brian, people today, you go in a spa channel operator, you want activity, right? I mean, especially if you're buying product, don't just give me a woo-woo product. I want something that actually does something.
Yeah, and I think that there's as much misinformation out there as there is good information on ingredients and products. And we're still living in a world, at least in the US, where we put an ingredient in there because it sounds good, but it might not be at an efficacious level within the formula where it actually does anything. And at the end of the day, the most important thing, more important than what it doesn't contain, doesn't contain phthalates, parabens, sulfates, or contains organic extracts of nettle and arnica. The most important thing is that the product works and the customer gets results.
Number 2, right. Well, you said results. I'm going to say performance, but we know that today someone doesn't come in for a $150 facial and go home with $300 products that don't work, right? They're not performing. This is why you would do a review. It has to prove itself out, which leads into efficacy, right?
It does. And, understanding this is a very complicated thing. What I used on my skin 20 years ago doesn't work for me anymore. It's not because the products aren't effective. It's because I've changed. And I think customers, there are seasonal variabilities, there are aging concerns, there are new concerns that pop up. It's really the esthetician's job to be that consultant to their client on what they should be doing at home and understand that what they leave with today might not be what they need to leave with in 6 months. That because of seasonal changes and other concerns that pop up, could be a different host of products altogether.
Brian, 2 quick things related to that. Number 1, I just talked to Dr. Kim Vanderlinden the other day from Hope Science, who used an expression I never heard, but as we're talking about this, and he said, when you're a baby or a child, you're a sponge. But, by the time you hit ours, you're like a dried out rag. So you talk about why things are so different at different age groups and why even over a period of months. I mean, if someone's using product from your spa and your skin is changing, you probably need to change this product too, right? Not the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, the brands that are being sold in spas are very proactive about this. They have invested millions in education and educators to come to your spa and to talk to you about all of these things. It is not just for the sole purpose of you putting the products in the front of your spa. This is education you need to have on a regular basis that they are happy to provide for you. Just pay attention to what they say, ask a lot of questions, and understand that things change.
Yeah, and I'm going to wrap up with a quick thought because you just stuck it in my head. Most of the manufacturers in our industry are fantastic. They do an amazing job.
Absolutely.
It isn't being made in their bathtubs at home. They're following FDA and regulations and assorted other stuff. But I think it was Ronald Reagan who said, trust but verify. I mean, if I own a spa and I'm employing people and I have clients coming in, I should want to have my own annual review process or
absolutely. Yeah. I would do an annual review process of what you have in front, how it's working, how it's selling for you. Don't be satisfied with a sales to service ratio under 30%. That could be symptomatic of how you talk about the products or symptomatic of how the products are or are not working for your customers at home. Don't be afraid to change it up. Invite new people in and let them talk to you about their products. It's the way you get knowledge. You might not bring their line in, but you can always learn something from everyone that comes in to show you something new.
Sage advice, and I'm not talking about the ingredient either.
Well, that's a whole nother show, Alan. We'll talk about sage.
Brian, thank you for imparting your information. Listeners, this. Brian's info will come up on the next screen. Feel free to reach out to him. He's a wonderful guy, and his knowledge is so deep. It's just incredible. Brian, again, thank you for sharing your thoughts and look forward to doing it again with you.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, Alan.